Hello, I'm Rudhima Singh. I'm a second year student of data analysis for public policy at Heinz College CMU.
And I'm Sarah. I'm a first year Ms. and Beta student.
Today we'd be talking about imports and inflation, specifically in the US context. So, have you seen the news lately? Tariffs are on the rise and they are being applied across a vast majority of countries. But this is not the first time it's happened. It's also happened before, which is why our analysis will look at historical data between the years of 2017 to 2024 pertaining to specifically general import value and the CPI index taken from US International Trade Commission and Bureau of Labor Statistics. The key findings of our study have been, um, first of all, the cumulative general import value in the US between 2017 to 2023 was $399 billion. The top five categories of consumer price index are medical care commodities, shelter, fruits and vegetable, fuel oil, and cereal and bakery products. 2022 to 2023 saw the biggest year-to-year percent change in CPI. We hypothesize this is primarily due to the Ukraine war's significant impact on global supply chain. The top five biggest drops in general import value also occurred in 2023. So, to repeat, between 2017 to 2023, the cumulative general import value was 399 billion. The top 13 countries that made 70% of this import value are mineral fuels, nuclear reactors, electrical machinery, furniture, and others. The top five biggest category, the top five biggest drops in general import value all occurred in 2023. The categories that were affected were nuclear reactors, furniture, electrical machinery, plastics, and toys and games. If we look at general import value from the country's perspective, as we know, China, India, Canada, and Russia saw the biggest drops in their export to the US. This relates to the trade policies of the time.
So now let's take a look at the second part of our data set, the Consumer Price Index. What is the Consumer Price Index, aka CPI? It's a measure of inflation that tracks the changes in consumer prices over time, and it's able to reflect the cost of a basket of goods and services, for example, food, housing, transportation. So why does CPI matter? It informs us on economic policy, wage adjustments, investment decisions, and here we're specifically using the seasonally adjusted CPI, which removes seasonal price variations and provides a clearer trend for month-to-month analysis. Now let's take a look at our findings. From 2017 to 2023, during this 5-year period, we looked at the average among each category and filtered out the 5 top categories in terms of seasonally adjusted index for CPI, which are medical care commodities, shelter, fruits and veggies, fuel, oil, and cereals, which are the orange sector to the left. So we wanted to do a deeper dive into these 5 categories specifically and see what their changes actually are. Is there a trend throughout these 5 years? And here is our findings. So we notice in general, the trend goes upward. And then specifically, we noticed that the biggest change seemed to appear from 2022 to 2023. So in order to verify whether that hypothesis is true, we took a look at the percentage changes. And we figured out, which year had the biggest percentage change for all these categories over these 5 years. And we found that the top year-to-year percentage change is actually 2022 to 2023 for 4 out of the 5 categories, as we can see here. So what does this imply? Well, this implies that prices surged from 2022 to 2023, and we're hypothesizing it's because of the Ukrainian war, where there's an energy crisis, housing costs rises, and food supply, there's a shock. And we're attaching a photo of an article to the right side that happened in October 2022, which speaks about the impact of the war in Ukraine on energy prices. So next, let's look at the correlation between the CPI data as well as the import data. And we can see that on the left side, the blue line represents the CPI data, and the red line represents the general import changes. Again, there's a clear trend that, as the CPI goes up, so people's perception of prices go up, the import actually goes down, which means there's a tariff from 2022 to 2023. So this is for the fuel data. Now let's take a look at another common commodity, which is firewood, on the next slide. As we can see, firewood is even more clear that whenever there's a rise for consumer price index, there's a downturn for the general import changes. And there's a very clear negative correlation between the two lines. And specifically, again, we can see that from 2022 to 2023, there's a huge negative correlation between the two. And that is our presentation. Thank you so much.